It's time for Recipe of the Day. Sometimes my pet peeves become the inspiration for a recipe on my website, which is what has happened here. I cannot stand it when I'm in a restaurant and I order avocado toast and it comes with tomato slices on top. I'm just like, this is so wrong. Why do I think it's wrong? Well, if the avocado is mashed and the tomato slices are on top, you bite into it, and as your teeth are like cutting through the tomato, it makes the avocado squish out the side, right? And then you have avocado kind of dripping off of your avocado toast. If the avocado is sliced and the tomato's on top, as you're biting through the tomato, the avocado and the tomato are both slippery and one or both of them goes sliding off of the toast. I know I am being a little bit finicky here, but I'm telling you, it just wrecks my enjoyment of avocado toast when this happens. And I realized this when I was at a cafe for brunch, a couple of months ago. This toast came and I was just like, here we go again. And I thought, you know what? It's time. I need to put this on the website. And so my recipe for the best avocado toast not only tastes delicious, but is the easiest to eat. So I'm going to start with my tips for avocado toast that makes it easy to eat, and then I will talk about the specific ingredients for this avocado tomato toast. So first, use mashed avocado instead of slices. The mash isn't as slippery, and so you don't have that smooth surface of avocado that is sliding against the tomato. That will make it easier to eat. Second, put the tomato slices directly onto the toast. If you are using tomato slices, go tomato slices, then your mashed avocado on top of that. And then your teeth go through the mashed avocado first, so no squishing out. And then they hit the tomato, which is against the toast, which gives it something firm to bite against, and it is much easier to eat. And I'll just say, if you search for avocado tomato toast on the internet, or just like pay attention to restaurants like I do, you will always see that the tomato slices are on top. I think it must look better, presentation, eat with your eyes and all of that, but it is just not the best way to do it. So that is what everything is pictured all the time, but it is not the best for eating. Okay. If you want to, I suggest even better than the tomato slices on the toast with the mashed avocado on top is to chop up the tomato and mix it with the avocado. This way you do not get any sliding, you do not get any squishing, and you get a really even distribution of tomato and avocado throughout your avocado toast. The other bonus in doing this is that when you chop up a tomato, you get those accumulated juices on your cutting board. The tomato water, I love this stuff. You can add that into the avocado toast and it just makes it like a little bit luscious with that very subtle tomato flavor throughout. So good. Now, if you are saying to me, Christine, I want it to look pretty, I want the tomato on top, that is the prettiest presentation. Okay, fine. You can do it. But my advice is probably still mash the avocado. It does make it easier to eat, but go ahead and do slices if you insist. But then chop up the tomato finally and pile that on top of the avocado toast. Some little bits of tomato may fall off, but nothing is slipping and sliding and nothing is squishing because the tomato is already chopped. You're not biting through it. So that is my advice for how to make avocado toast that is easy to eat. And it still looks beautiful. Don't worry about it. It is lovely and delicious because of the other ingredients that we put in there. Of course, just avocado, tomato, and salt is wonderful, but this takes it up a notch. So I did tell you a couple weeks ago about my avocado toast seasoning recipe. This is a delicious seasoning blend that you can mix up and then have in your pantry to just quickly add to avocado, mashed up or slices to just really make a delicious avocado toast very quickly without having to do any chopping. So you could, of course, just do that here. It's 1 tablespoon of seasoning for 2 avocados, which is about 1.5 teaspoons per avocado. If you have that seasoning blend, it is a delicious way to go. Or you can use fresh ingredients, and I'm going to list the ones that I'm calling for in this recipe. And then I'm actually going to backtrack and go through them again, offering pantry staples for those. So kind of like that avocado toast seasoning, I know and you know that sometimes you just don't have the energy to chop up a whole bunch of things and you just want to add some seasonings and be done. And so you could go kind of either way. You could do all pantry staples, or you could do all fresh ingredients, or you could do a hybrid based on what you have or what you have the energy for, Okay, so first, the recipe for the fresh avocado tomato toast. You are doing 1 ripe avocado peeled and pitted. This is going to make enough for 2 pieces of toast, which for me is 1 serving. You mash that up with a fork until it's smashed but still chunky. And you know what? I'm going to say something else here. We're about to add half of a tomato chopped up to this mixture. And I didn't say this above, but one of the other perks of doing the chopped tomato mixed with the mashed avocado is if you're making this for more than one person, you just make 1 mashed up mixture and then scoop it onto all the toasts instead of having to like layer everything and have those extra steps. This just makes it quicker and more convenient. So when I'm doing avocado toast for all of us here, this is definitely what I do. Mix up the ingredients while the toast is toasting and then just spoon it on and we are eating in no time. Sometimes, of course, there is a fried egg on top of there too. But yeah, that's just making it much easier. Okay, so half of a tomato chopped finely and you add that to the avocado along with any of that tomato water, those accumulated juices on the cutting board. And then to that you are adding a tablespoon of chopped red onion, or you can do green onion, a tablespoon of chopped fresh cilantro, half a teaspoon of lemon juice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon zest. I really like doing the lemon in avocado toast to make it kind of different from guacamole, which often has lime. Avocado goes beautifully with both of those, and this just sets it apart. So it's not like guacamole, it is avocado toast. You know what I mean? And the zest just brings so much, well, zesty flavor. Okay. Then 1/8 of a teaspoon of dried cumin. If you don't like cumin, you can skip it totally. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of fine salt, just your regular table salt or fine sea salt. And then you mix that up. And then that goes on to 2 slices of bread. I love it on multigrain. And then I really like to go with a little pinch of kosher salt on top. It has those bigger crystals, and so it's like a little bit crunchy and looks pretty, the white flakes on top, and gives you that little extra blast of salt. That's optional. Also optional is a little pinch of red pepper flakes on top, or sometimes I'll do a grind of black pepper just to show that little texture on top of the toast, you know? You could also garnish with some fresh cilantro if you'd like. So that is really the best avocado tomato toast. But now I will tell you some substitutions. You can use some tomato powder instead of the tomatoes. I've talked about this ingredient before. They don't sell it at grocery stores. You have to order it online. It is really just dried tomatoes that have been ground up into a fine powder, and it kind of tastes like sun-dried tomatoes. It is delicious. Just a couple pinches of that in there instead of tomato is great. Or you can do a 10-ounce can of Rotel. You're just going to drain that through a fine mesh sieve because you don't want all that liquid. Similarly, a 1/4 cup of drained, canned, diced tomatoes. I like the petite diced. They're just smaller, spread out through that avocado mixture better. Or a 1/4 cup of drained salsa. You just put that into the sieve, give it a couple of like hits against your hand or against the side of the sink, and some liquid will come off. You can add that strained salsa to there. Instead of the red onion, you can do a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder or of garlic powder, or an 1/8 of a teaspoon of both. Instead of the fresh cilantro, you can use an 1/8 to a 1/4 teaspoon of dried cilantro or a good pinch of ground coriander. That is the seed of the same plant that cilantro comes from, and it has some of that same zesty, citrusy flavor that cilantro has. And I will tell you that a lot of people who find cilantro to be a little soapy and don't like it do like coriander, or at least don't find it to have that soapy flavor. So it is worth a try if you haven't tried it before. And then that lemon zest and juice, both of them are in this recipe. If you don't have a lemon to zest, you can just use some bottled lemon juice and add a few extra drops to make up for the missing zest. Or in place of the lemon zest and juice, you can use 1/8 of a teaspoon of the ground coriander if you're not already using it as a substitute for the cilantro, because it has that citrusy flavor. Or 1/8 of a teaspoon of sumac, also has that kind of lemoniness to it. Or you can do some lemon pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon of lemon pepper. And then I've also told you before that some crystallized lemon, like the brand True Lemon, that is a great substitute. It's just very potent. So you just want a little pinch of that mixed in. That's the stuff that people take to work to add lemon flavor to their water during the day, that kind of thing. It's just pure lemon that's been crystallized and is a good pantry way to add that lemon zest flavor. Okay, that is everything. I know I've taken 10 minutes to talk about something as simple as avocado tomato toast, but I have opinions, y'all. I really do. Okay, so that is how you make delicious avocado tomato toast that is not only super tasty, but also easy to eat. I cannot wait to hear what you think about this. I am curious if other people have this pet peeve or if they all just think I'm crazy. You can let me know in the comments for this blog post, which I will link to you in the show notes of this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is June 8th of 2025. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.